Hi YouTube, this is Utkarsh and this is my first YouTube video. As you can probably tell from my shitty audio and video equipment, my overhead lighting, like who does overhead lighting, and just my general amateurishness. Uh, if I do continue to make YouTube videos, which I hope to, hopefully that will go away, but I have no idea when. Anyway, I watched Hilda and the Mountain King, as you can tell from the title, uh, an animated film which continues the story of our fearless adventurer Hilda from the cliffhanger ending of Hilda season 2, which I'm guessing you have watched since you clicked on this video, and sets up the story of what will be the third and final season of Hilda, which they haven't announced a release date for, but I'm gonna guess will be here sometime in 2023. They usually take a while to make Hilda content, so I don't think we're gonna get another season in 2022. Anyway, I'm a huge fan of Hilda. I got this. I don't know if you can. No. Yeah, Hilda and the Troll, the first Hilda graphic novel. Not a graphic novel. The first issue of Hilda, I should say, given its size. Uh, as a birthday slash Christmas gift a few days ago, I've been watching the Netflix series for a couple of years. I've been in love with that for a while now. I generally love Netflix's all ages animated content between Keeper and the Age of Wonder Beasts, The Dragon Prince, uh, Carmen Sandiego, She-Ra and Princesses of Power, and of course Hilda, which is probably my favorite of the bunch. It's either Keeper and the Age of Wonder Beasts or Hilda, but Keeper is over after its 3 seasons, uh, as Hilda will be soon. So among the shows that aren't over yet, Hilda is definitely my favorite. And I hate to say this, but I won't keep you waiting for my opinion. Uh, I don't think the film lives up to the extremely high bar set by the first 2 seasons. That's not to say it's bad, but there are things holding it back. It's now, as you would expect, if you have seen the first 2 seasons. Of course, the technical quality is maintained. I mean, you look at its Annie Award nominations. Hilda and the Mountain King has been nominated for Best Directing by Andy Coyle and Best Original Score by Ryan Carlson. And yeah, I agree with whoever decided the nominations. I do think that this was a beautifully animated film, and it continues the tradition of great music from the Hilda show. That said, one my favorite piece of music from the series is the opening titles before every episode, and uh, the ones by Grimes. Uh, that's just beautiful to me, and that is not something you get in this movie, which I'm not going to blame them for. Of course, it's not an episode of the series per se. It's kind of an episode, a really long episode, 80 plus minutes episode, but it's not actually an episode. So I get why they would not use that music. Why they've created an original title sequence for the film, and it's really beautiful. It sounds great, and so on all these technical levels, I can recommend Hilda to you. I will also recommend Hilda and the Mountain King because it is, again, less than an hour and a half. And so, even despite the shortcomings that I am about to point out, uh, it's still not like you're wasting 4 hours of your life on this, right? So, uh, whatever, just pop it in, see if it's something that's engaging you in a few minutes. It's on Netflix, and you know, if you're interested in continuing, watch the whole way through. Now, of course, the heart and soul of the series are the relationships between its core characters. Hilda, her mother, her two best friends, uh, they just have uh, this, they and a couple of other supporting characters who hang around them all the time. They have really strong bonds that they've built over these 2 seasons, and that's what we're invested in. That's what the film excels at showing you whenever it's about how much. these people love each other, how much they want to support each other through their adventures. It's great. But when it comes to the plot that was set up by the cliffhanger ending of season two that this film takes forward, that's where I think it's weakest. Now, at the end of season two, it left a lot of us wondering, how do you continue a story from here? Where do they go from this? How do they address something this massive, something this morally dubious? How do they deal with this character who was involved in this activity? And to my disappointment, they didn't so much deal with it as more like just acknowledge that it exists and then shoved it out of the way. And that was a little disappointing. I don't think I have a better way to put this. So here's the thing about this movie. Every time it comes up against something a little messy, something a little difficult to deal with, difficult to address, it just has a one line out of all of these thorny issues. Mother's love. Every problem can be addressed by, but mothers really love their children. And that's not always a bad thing. Harry Potter, for instance, uh, got around a lot of mm explanations for how the magic in that world works by saying Lily's magic is protecting Harry. Lily's magic is making this happen and that happen and everything happen. And then beyond that, you didn't really need to explain much. But here, it doesn't quite work as well. And I think a lot of it is because the issues that this film is dealing with, they are the kind of issues that deserve better, that deserve a more nuanced treatment. Uh, as you will see if you check this movie out, which I'm guessing you will if you're watching this video because you've seen the first two seasons of Hilda. My criticisms are not going to hinder you from watching the movie, so you are probably going to watch this movie if you haven't already. But it's whenever you watch it, I think you will see what I mean by uh, the ways this film falls short of addressing its issues. Uh, for instance, one of the main themes in the movie is prejudice and discrimination. And I am all for uh, all ages animated movies taking this particular issue and trying to simplify it in a way that kids can understand it, that kids can feel some kind of emotional connection to it and be moved by it, and maybe it influences their actions, makes them better, more empathetic people. This is what Zootopia did, and I really appreciated that. Then a couple of years later, it's what Wolfwalker did, and I really, really appreciated that. But here, the film just kind of brushes these issues off, treats them as, I feel like it treats them as smaller than they are, and it doesn't, I don't feel like at the end of it I came away with anything interesting that the film had to add to that conversation, anything interesting the film had to say about it, any nice, even a nice simple moral that the film had to teach to people beyond just, we are all united in loving our mothers. And even when it's dealing with that theme of motherly love, there is a certain plot decision at the end that bugged me, but that's something that I don't want to talk about here because this is a non-spoiler review, and moreover, I don't think I need to talk about it here because well, it's not a major criticism. It's the kind of thing, the kind of action that I would have wanted characters in this film to take at the end of the movie, but them not doing it now doesn't mean they won't do it later. We still have another season of the show left, and I have all the faith in the world in the team that makes Hilda. I think they will uh, address this issue that I have eventually in season three. One last thing, I also did not love one aspect of the way the plot was structured, which is that there's a piece of information, there's a reveal that comes very late in the film. Like at the beginning of the third act, you could say, more than two-thirds of the way, definitely. And it's something that's obvious to us as the audiences within like the first 10 minutes, maximum 15 minutes. It's just staring us in the face. And, again, that's the kind of thing that might not be obvious to a little child watching the movie. And I definitely do appreciate when filmmakers are able to create entertainment that uh, works really well for kids, that entertains kids. But, at its best, Hilda has been the kind of thing that can work for children while working for a viewer like me who just loves animated stuff, who just loves children's fiction. Uh, Whereas, because of this kind of thing that I'm talking about that happened in this film, it makes it less interesting to someone who's thinking along the lines I am than it is to a child who maybe has not seen enough movies to see it coming. And the problem with seeing it coming is not just that a surprise is ruined. The problem is deeper than that, because a lot of the actions characters take in this film, in the duration when they don't know the thing that we as the audience know, they are they're misguided. They feel uh, futile, and that became a really frustrating experience. It disconnected me from the feelings and experiences of the protagonist. It made me feel distant from her, this one piece of information that I had that she did not. Uh, yeah, I feel like I've been bagging on this film too much. These are just the little issues that I had which held me back from loving the movie. That's not to say I hated the movie. It's still a nice 84, 85 minutes of uh, your typical high quality Hilda animation. It is still worth watching, and I am still really looking forward to season 3. And yeah, if you watch this, if you like my review, if you feel like there's something you would like to discuss, please do leave your thoughts in the comments. And hopefully, this my first video will not be my last video. Hopefully, I will make more. See you.